what, how do you start, even if with somebody that's used to ears, but you're starting, the first rehearsal of a tour or, a one-off gig, however it's going to be, what questions do you ask them to get them a mix that's going to work for them quickly?
Generally, most drummers, there's some specific things that they generally want, right? Guitar players, bass players. So I usually will dial in, something first and then ask like, hey, what do you want?
When you dial in that first thing, is it a kind of an even mix of everything with more me for each person, or are you treating things differently?
You talk about in-ears, right?
Yeah, for in-ears. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, generally, yeah. I think with in-ears, you also use more effects, more compression, things like that. You might put the drums in a subgroup and compress them so that they don't get in the way of other things, right?
Yeah.
Um, things like you want to have that separation of instruments, and I think obviously that starts with a good mix, but it really starts with a good pair of in-ears.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where we come from as far as like the foundation you start with. Because again, if you are traveling room to room to room and, you know, you've got a different monitor board every night, different mics every night, as
Yeah.
long as you're starting with a good baseline, it's easier to then tell the monitor engineer, what you want and what you need, like even frequency wise, right? You could be like, wow, this sounds really muddy. Can you roll out, the 250 or 300 or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,